Today, we are talking about how to grow your channel so that you can increase your views, subscribers, and income. We'll be talking through some practical tips as well as some motivation. So let's lean into it. But first, I'm going to take off this hat because it's a little bit big for my head. And yeah, that's better. So let's go ahead and lean in to the presentation today. So we're going to be talking about how to grow your channel. And I'm hoping that this is going to be really useful and helpful for a lot of you guys who are trying to, really go full time with all of this stuff. Because at the end of the day, making content is super fun. Making content is, it's a joy. You get to have fun making it. It can be super entertaining to do. And ultimately you get to connect with people, which is super fun. So, I'm going to give you guys just a second to hop in here. I'm seeing you guys in the comments right now, which is super fun. We've got Caitlin. What's up? Excited to talk to you. We've got Sheeps for Jesus. Hey, y'all. Sujay, what's up? Super excited to be with you guys today and, just share some thoughts. Like the comment said, I just want to share some of my thoughts on this topic on how to grow, because I don't think that it's something that always happens overnight, and that's good. I don't think that it should. And I think that at the end of the day, there's some techniques and some just thoughts and motivation that I want to give you guys for this video today. So leaning into how to grow your channel. And I actually want to start this off by sharing something that I heard in church actually throughout the weekend. It's just something that I heard that really kind of changed my perspective a little bit, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because I think it can be valuable for content creators. And so I'm going to share a verse with you guys that I heard. It says, "Much food is in the fallow ground of the poor." All right, much food is in the fallow ground of the poor. Why is this important? To understand what this means, let me define what fallow ground is. It just basically means uncultivated ground. So this verse, which, I for one tend to base my life and, my beliefs and stuff based around the Bible. That's just what I do personally. And I think it's a great guidebook for life and also for content creation. All right, so I wanted to share this with you. So fallow ground is like uncultivated land. So what this is saying is there's actually an abundance to be found in the uncultivated land of the poor. And I don't necessarily mean financially poor when I'm talking to you, but you could feel like your channel is poor, like you have low views, low subscribers. Maybe you feel like you have a low skill set or you're poor in your skills. Well, I'm here to encourage you today with this verse because much food is still to be found. There is abundance to be found in the uncultivated land of your channel, in the uncultivated ground of your skill set, in the uncultivated ground of, these efforts that you're going to put into with your content creation. All right. So we're going to dive into this even a step further, but that's just an encouragement for you today. If you're feeling like, I've been striving or I haven't even really started yet, like I just don't have the views and the subscribers that I want, it's okay. There is still an abundance to be found. You just have to work the land. And that's why I want to encourage you with this next verse, which is going to be, let me hide myself real quick so you can see it. "Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will have their fill of poverty." Let me say that again for you guys. Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will have their fill of poverty. Another way to say fantasies is frivolity. That's another translation. It's basically the frivolous thing. So what this means is if you work your land, if you go to work, you're not just dreaming about it. You're not just having these grand ideas about stuff, but you're actually putting your hand to the field. You're getting your camera, you're writing down ideas, you're actually making videos and actually hitting publish. Every time you do that, you're cultivating the land, you're cultivating your channel, you're growing it. All right. So those who actually go to work will find the abundance, but those who just chase fantasies and dreams will surely find poverty. So I don't want you guys to feel like you have poverty mindsets or have poverty in your channel. I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to find the abundance, to find the growth, to find the views. And so I want to encourage you with some steps today on how to cultivate your channel. So let's dive back into this presentation. All right. We're going to be talking first on how to cultivate ideas, because I think this is a really strong way to start. Everything sort of starts with an idea. And so I want to share with you guys how to cultivate some ideas for your channel. I think one of the biggest ways that you can cultivate ideas if you're stuck, because I know a lot of times when you start your channel, you can kind of feel like, I don't know where to begin. Some of you may have tons of ideas, but some of you may not. What I would recommend is to think about who have you been, because I believe that you're most equipped to talk to who you've been. You've experienced some things. You've learned some things. Maybe you're no expert in your field. That's okay. You're still a few steps along because you're getting ready to start something. And even if you're not a few steps along, you can document your journey. But for those of you who are passionate about something, right? That's why you want to start a channel most likely. You're passionate about a topic, or you're passionate about a belief or a skill. Chances are, because of your passion, you've learned some stuff about it. You've already gone a few steps beyond the beginner level. So think about how you were when you first were getting passionate about this thing and talk to that person. You know, you've learned some stuff, you've walked through some stuff, you've met some people who have taught you some stuff, you've researched some videos. All of those things have helped make you who you are. They've helped sharpen your skills and refine you, right? And so you've learned some lessons and you've perceived that stuff. It's made sense to you, and now you're doing it. Someone else needs that insight. Someone else needs that help. So think about your questions when you started. Think about your things that you used to think of. And that's a great place to start when it comes to cultivating ideas for your channel, okay? And the thing is, you don't have to be an expert. You just don't. A lot of times, I like to think of it from a level of 1 through 10, 10 being the top expert, 1 being a beginner. Maybe you consider yourself a level 4. You've done a few steps. Well, guess what? Maybe you can't talk as much to the levels 5 through 10, but you can certainly talk through levels 1 through 3. And there's a lot of questions that beginners have. So don't discount yourself by comparing yourself to the experts, because the cool thing is, even if you are still a level 4, the more you begin to teach, you're going to be sharpening your craft, and you'll soon find yourself to be a level 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. So lean into those things and go for it. All right. Another thing to think about is, in your passion, in your field, in your niche, whatever you want to call it, there's tools that you use to do those things. If it's a gardening channel, there's tools you use to garden. If it's cooking, there's stuff you use to create food. And so talk about the tools that you love to use. Chances are, whatever your passion is, you've tried a few things, or you've experimented with different ways to do stuff, and you've found things that are your preference. Talk about why they're your preference, or why you've decided one product over another, one tool over another, and share that with people, because it's going to be a blessing to them. It's going to be a help to them, because you're going to help decrease that amount of time that you've had to walk through, and you're going to help escalate them, which is a fantastic thing. So those are a few thoughts on how you can cultivate these ideas, because remember, we don't want to leave that ground uncultivated. We don't want to leave that ground unworked. You want to start getting to work, and it begins with the ideas. All right. It begins with the ideas. Awesome to see some of you guys joining in the chat today. We've got Matt right here. What's up, Matt? Got Jyoti. We've got Sheeps for Jesus again. Hello from Texas. What's up? Thank you guys for joining the stream today. Let's continue right along with the presentation. So we've got cultivate ideas. What's next? Once you've cultivated the ideas, what comes after that? Well, it's going to be... let's talk about this for a second. Sorry. So when you're talking about your ideas, the thing to think about is this little chart. On one side, you've got your passion. On the other side, you've got experiences that you may have had. And in the middle is where you're going to find where you can add value. You're passionate about it, you've got some experience in it, and where those two things overlap, you're going to be able to add value to people. And that is the fastest way that you're going to be able to grow your channel and bring in views and subscribers and income, is when you can find that thing that you are absolutely passionate about and that you actually have some experience or something to add. Where that overlaps is the value, and it's the value that's going to bring in the results of growth. All right. So going back to the presentation, on to part 2, we've got somewhere, maybe, Cultivate Systems. All right, Cultivate Systems. So what I mean by Cultivate Systems is your approach to creating content. Because when it comes to content creation, there are a lot of different ways to do it. And I think the best way that you can do it is to create systems. And this is going to look like things that are as simple as just the structure or the format of your videos. I think everybody will naturally start to create their own format for their videos. It could be a product review. The way that you approach a product review could be way different than the way I approach a product review. And that's good. You can take 2 teachers, for example, and give them the exact same curriculum. Both of them are going to teach it in different ways because people learn in different ways too. And that's why it's great to be able to have your perspective and insights. So as you begin to go through your content creation process, you will start to create and cultivate formats and structures of your videos that are going to resonate with your audience, whether you're doing entertainment or education or whatever it is that you're doing, just sharing your life. Like, there's going to be a format to your videos, and that will change and adapt over time as your skills get better, as you become a better storyteller or a better presenter. But the way you naturally are inclined to share the information you've learned or the message that you have, that's going to be a good thing, because I believe, and I've talked about this before, that every creative has like a unique approach to the way they create. It's like a fingerprint. Everybody just has a different way and a different approach, and it makes it unique to them. No one else has your voice. No one else has your perspective or the way that you're going to approach and create this stuff. And that's a good thing. Like, the cool thing though is that people actually need the perspective you have, and they need the way that you're going to share this stuff. So all of that to say, as you go through your process, you will create systems and formats that will work. All right. And I think one of the ways that is going to be helpful for you to do this is to actually try to avoid things that cause friction or things that get in the way of content creation. So say you're someone who's strapped for time. Maybe you have just like a lot of time on your hands, and you don't, maybe it's like you just don't have enough time throughout the day to create content. But then, you still want some time to just be able to play video games or do whatever. And you're like, I should stop doing that and instead focus on content creation. One thing you could do is, find your gaming console and actually go back around and unplug it from the wall, so it's harder to get to, right? You're creating an obstacle of friction that's preventing you from, wasting that time rather than creating, right? And on the flip side, you can create things that make it easier for you to create systems and structures in place that will make it easier for you to create less friction to go and make content. So you could set up your camera in an easy to get to spot. You could set up your room or your place with stuff just already ready to go. So as soon as you get your idea and your script down, you can go right away into it, or at least easy to access. And you'll create a system of like, all right, I want to shoot into this corner and use this light and use this camera angle and use this microphone right here or right here. You'll start to create your setup, your systems that will make it easier to execute when you have your ideas, right? So think through those things, and the goal is to create as little friction as possible so you can get right to the creation process and ultimately be more consistent and get more content out working in that field, right? You're cultivating the ground of your channel, all right? So another thing will be just trying to like make it easy for yourself, right? Like, that's ultimately the goal, whether you're using your phone or you're using whatever. And just having like something that I do that I find really helpful with this, even going back to the idea phase, is just to have like notes, an active note thing in your phone. So as soon as you get an idea, it could be in the middle of the night, you wake up with just like, whoa, I have an idea. jot it in your phone, and then you're creating a system of like anytime idea or inspiration strikes, you have a running list of stuff to go back to. These are all little techniques that you can do to help, get your ideas across and get them saved and have these structures in place to execute on them. So my advice would be like, just try to get a setup that is going to be repeatable for you, because that's going to save you time. You're not going to have to be reinventing the wheel every time you want to make a video. You just have like a go-to spot where you set up you hold your phone, or you put it on a tripod. Maybe you have some window light, or you bring in a nice light. Whatever it is that you're doing, just make it repeatable. And so you don't have to try to reinvent it every time, right? Because that's just going to make it harder to be consistent with all of this. All right. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. We're going to move on to the next step. All right. So we've got create ideas. We've got cultivate systems. And now we are going to go on to the next step, which is cultivate community. All right. Cultivate community. This is underrated. All right. So if this is a new concept to you, lean in. It's called social media for a reason. Okay. The whole point of building up these views and these subscribers is not just for the sake of you having vanity metrics. It's so that you can actually build relationship with people, build a community of people that can be, sharing a common interest, and that you can be sort of like adding value to and helping, right? So the ways that you actually build the community is to go ahead and respond to comments when you get them, right? So like when people are commenting on your stuff, like respond to them, actually engage with them, right? Like, that's the whole point of this. Like, you've got people to spend their time and are moved enough to comment onto your video. You should honor that and comment back when you can. Another thing would be, engage with your community. They are a tool now for, as you begin to even if you have 5 subscribers or 10 followers on Instagram or whatever it is, they chose to follow for a reason. Okay. So utilize them, ask them what they want to see. If you're struggling with ideas, if you're struggling with whatever, just ask the community, hey, you chose to follow me for a reason. What can I do to help you? What do you want to learn? What is the next step that I can help you with? And they will give you feedback. Also pay attention to the comments you may already be getting, because a lot of times they'll start to emerge a trend of a couple people are starting to ask this same question. Maybe I should make a video to answer them, right? So pay attention to the community. This is how you cultivate the community, how you grow an active audience that is interested in your content, that will show up on your posts and that are wanting to dive in and learn more and go that distance with you, okay? So the thing is, if they follow you, right, whether it's you have 1 subscriber or you have 1 million, if they are following you, it's because they want your specific insights. They want to know what you have to say about something. It's not so much about, oh, this video already exists or someone else already covers it or they can go get the answer wherever. A lot of people know that they could go get an answer to something somewhere else, but they follow you. They're subscribed to you because they want your perspective and your insights. So don't be afraid about covering topics that you think are oversaturated or already exist, because a lot of times your people want to hear your thoughts on the topic. All right. So that's just an encouragement to you if you're on the fence. I know I've been there before where it's like, oh, there's already a ton of these videos. How can I add anything different? And the reality is just you showing up and giving your honest insights about stuff is really what your followers and your subscribers want to see. That's what they want. That's why they subscribed. So hopefully that will help free some of you guys to go do that stuff, because all of that being said, these are ways that you can cultivate that community, which will ultimately lead to growth in your channel. All right. And again, if you don't feel like you have a big active community, one of the reasons they may not be active is because you're not actively engaging them. So try to create content in a way that will invite, engagement and invite comments and invite questions and answers and a dialogue. Okay. A dialogue between you and the community. All right. So let's see. Oh, you see, and I see we got some questions coming in. So what I'm going to do, we're going to have a Q&A at the end. All right. So hold on your questions and we will do Q&A in just a moment. All right. I'm excited to dive into that with you guys as well. But let's continue on. We've got one more. So we've got Cultivate Ideas. We've got Cultivate Systems, Cultivate Community, and now we are going into Cultivate Discipline. All right, Cultivate Discipline. And this is a big one. It's I think my personal belief is like, I think anybody can make a video once. Like anybody can start a channel. The thing that separates people from, just doing it one time and being successful at it are those that continue to show up. It's those that continue to post and add value, even when they're not seeing all the results yet, right? And so I think it comes down to discipline. It's knowing where you want to go. What do you want your future to be? And taking those steps every day to help get you closer. And again, I want to share something I heard over the weekend at my church because I just thought it was a really cool concept. The person who was speaking said that you should grab a piece of your future. And in their context, they were an aspiring pastor when they were younger, and they didn't have a church or anything yet. But what they did was they went out and they bought a briefcase because all the pastors that they had seen carried a briefcase. And so they grabbed a piece of their future. And what that did was it started momentum in their life to head towards that direction. And in the same way, if you're an aspiring content creator, maybe you don't have a big studio, maybe you don't have a fancy camera, maybe you don't have all of the views and subscribers yet, but you could still grab a piece of your future. You can invest into your channel in some way, whether that's you're using your phone and you decide to buy a $2 app that lets you unlock some camera settings, or maybe you go out and you purchase a small tripod so that you can, kind of get more stable images for your shot. Like whatever it is, I'm not saying buy meaningless stuff, but I'm saying like go and invest in yourself, even at a small scale level, because it's going to create this momentum in you that's going to project you and propel you towards that goal, towards that destination of being a content creator, right? So think about that. What piece of your future could you grab today? Taking that one step. Maybe it's just grabbing a notebook. And this is my idea notebook where I'm going to write down the first 10 ideas that I'm going to do as videos when I'm a content creator. Because guess what? Planning is part of being a content creator. So you're already a content creator if you're planning. All right. So that's what I mean though. Like take that small step, grab that piece of your future and see that momentum start to build. Okay. And then just be consistent with it. Like you've got to stay the course. You've got to stay the course and the thing that helps me stay the course is it's not the views. Subsequently, it's not the subscribers and it's not the income. It's not any of the things I mentioned in the title of this video. Those are just fruits of the cultivation. They're fruits of the land that come with the territory. But the thing that keeps me going to the field per se, creating the content and putting in the work is thinking about you guys. It's thinking about adding value to people, because that's a purpose that can sustain me. On the days when I don't feel like creating, I can remember that there's a purpose to what I'm doing. There's a mission to what I'm doing. So I say this to encourage you. The thing that I think more than anything else that will help you stay disciplined is to keep focused on the mission. Stay mission minded. And I encourage you, please, if you're wanting to be a successful content creator, I believe that you've got to have a mission. So think about what your mission is. Who do you want to impact? How do you want to entertain people or make them smile? What is it that your goal is with your content? Because if it's just to make stuff and be famous or whatever, it's like, that's a mission, I guess, but it's something that won't necessarily sustain you. But when you can think beyond yourself and think about the community that you'll build and the message that you'll share, I think that you'll get into a realm and in a zone where it's like, even on the days where you feel defeated, even on the days where you feel unmotivated or uninspired, even on the days where you don't feel like picking up the camera and making another video, you'll remember the mission and it will keep you going and keep you consistent so that you can keep plowing that land, like we said earlier, because there is much abundance in the ground. There's much fruit and much to come from working the ground and seeing what will come out of it. Okay. I hope that, guys, I hope that this is encouraging you a little bit today. All right. So we're going to move on in just a moment. But first of all, I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, which is Soundstripe. If you guys have been on the channel for any length of time, most of my videos, you know, I love to talk about Soundstripe. It's actually where I get all of my music for YouTube videos and client work. It's what's been playing in the background this whole time. It's what was at the beginning of the stream. It's Soundstripe. That's where I get the music. I actually have a playlist on their website that you guys can go check out some of my favorite tracks if you're in the market for a music licensing site. They have great filter tools. It's really easy to find what you're looking for. On average, they say people spend less than 5 minutes finding a great track for their project because their filter tools are so good. And they've got great pricing, very competitive pricing, one of the cheapest in the game, but by no means are their products cheap. They have really great music. They have Grammy Award winning nominated producers that are working on their stuff. So it's all really consistent and really good. Not just anybody can submit music. It's very much vetted and goes through an approval process so that you get the best of the best. And if you guys are interested, you can use code Creative20 to save 20% at checkout. And that's all there is to that. You know, I love Soundstripe. Just going back to it for 1 second, I got to shout them out. They are one of my favorite companies to work with. They're awesome. And, yeah, I've been using them again for years. Like, I really have been using them years before I started with my YouTube channel. So genuinely, I think that they are the best place. I've tried all of the music licensing companies. I've worked, you know, on some level with all of them. And Soundstripe, I just think it's great value for up and coming creators who don't have a ton of budget yet, but need to have music for their videos and don't want to spend hours and hours searching for a usable track. Okay. So all that being said, let's get into a little bit of a Q&A. So if you guys got questions, bring them on in. I'm going to kind of scroll through some of these. I thought I might have seen a question earlier, but let me know. I'll give you guys a moment to just get these things going in and actually keep on typing your questions. But I do want to tell you guys actually about my course, because I recently launched my lighting course. So if you like my lighting going on, or you've seen the lighting in my videos, I do have a course that is available now. And so I'm going to show you guys a little promo for that, just because this is my stream and I can do that. So as you guys are thinking of your questions and bringing them in, I'm giving some time for that to come in. Go ahead and check out this promo and enjoy. Whether you are using an expensive camera setup or simply a smartphone, lighting can completely change the entire look of your video. Hi, my name is Ben Johnson, and I'm passionate about helping content creators crush it online. I've been running my creative business full-time since 2015. I've created content for clients generating millions of views, captured hundreds of live events with my award-winning team, and generated a community of over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. The common thread throughout all of this was using lighting to create content that stands out. And now I've condensed years of experience into this course so that you can go further faster. In these modules, you will learn the fundamentals of lighting, multiple lighting styles and techniques, how to create flattering looks in challenging scenarios, how to achieve pro looks on a budget, and how to create standout content that gets results. Your digital presence has never been more important because business is happening online. It is where interviews are conducted, transactions take place, people are discovered, communities are built, and careers are made. Whether you are creating social media content, applying for your dream job, teaching courses, or filming for clients, this course will help you stand out and level up your content. All right. Hopefully that, excited you a little bit. I think it's fun. So got a few questions in here, so we're going to go ahead and dive into those. All right. We have a question that says, do you have something like a weekly schedule for your videos? Personally, I do not. I do not have a weekly schedule. I would love to have a weekly schedule, honestly, but I think like my videos right now, I'm working still. I'm working still on finding my system, on finding my rhythm. I do try to post one about every week, but I would say more than a weekly schedule. I really take it more as like a monthly schedule. So for me, there's certain deadlines that I'll have if I'm working with brands and I need to deliver on those. So typically I'm doing at least 4 to 5 videos a month. They're not necessarily every week. They're usually just as I get them done, I will post them because I want to get them out to you guys as soon as possible. So I view it more as monthly than weekly as of now. That may change over time, but great question. And I think that that's not saying that you need to view it that way by any means. That's just how I'm doing it right now. It can change. And this is the thing too, like as it comes to content creation and business and all this stuff, like there's different seasons and stuff of your life where, you may be more busy personally and you need to cut back some, or you may have time to go all in and you can go full force, and that's okay. Like whatever systems you make, know that they can be adapted and changed. So just as your life changes and as the seasons change and all of that stuff. So great question though. Yeah, for me, I view it more as monthly than weekly right now. Got Sheeps for Jesus. How would you recommend working with other YouTube creators? First and foremost, I would definitely recommend working with other creators, but I would say be specific and strategic with who you're working with. So don't just work with any channel. Make sure that their audience would also make sense to go with your audience, that there's some overlap, some similarities, right? Because if you do a collab with another creator who has nothing to do with your audience interests, then if that creator ends up like mentioning you and telling his followers to go over to your channel, they may not convert because they're just not like, interested in the same stuff. So make sure you're working with like-minded creators. Now, what I would say as far as reaching out to creators, like just reach out. Like I think a lot of stuff happens in the DMs on Instagram. So I would try to connect with them on Instagram. A lot of times they're a little bit more accessible on Instagram than on YouTube, or then, just trying to find how to contact them on their website. That's another way you can do it. But I think Instagram is a great place to try to just make some connections and start by liking their posts, commenting on their posts, and start showing up as a person, to their content if it's someone you want to work with, and then maybe go into the DMs and be like, hey, I was thinking we could do some cool content together, and maybe pitch them an idea. Like you're not just saying like, hey, I'd love to collab because I want a shout out from you. No, like you're saying like, hey, I'd love to collab because I think you, other creator, could add a ton of value to my audience, and it would be really beneficial, and I'd love to give some insight with your audience or whatever. So come with a pitch, come with a concept or an idea already, so that the other creator's not having to do the heavy lifting with coming up with ideas or whatever, and then it will start a dialogue, right? It will start a dialogue. So that's how I've done it in the past with creators that I've partnered with. It's worked well so far. I think you'll find a lot of times creators are very interested in collaborating. They're very interested in partnering because they want the same thing. They want to grow their channel as well. Okay. Caleb says, any good tips or advice on using the community tab? Use it. Use it as much as you can. I would say 2 main tips. 1, utilize polls as much as possible. I think by far across the board, what I've seen on multiple channels and from multiple creators are that polls get the most engagement. I think a lot of times it creates this intrigue in people where you pose a question, there's 2 to 4 options, and they want to know what other people are thinking. Is it the same as me? Is it different than me? What do I think about this? How does the majority think about it? Where do I fall in the percentage? And so it evokes this curiosity. They'll vote, and people start to engage. YouTube likes that. They'll start recommending your content more, right? So pose questions. Think of a ton of different questions. They could be silly questions. It could be personal questions. It could be content related questions or audience related questions, but utilize the polls. I think that's the best way to use the community tab. Secondly, if you're posting, I think some people are able to do carousel posts now, which is cool, but I would say utilize intriguing images in your post. If you're going to post a caption, don't just post a caption, post it with a picture. Find a good picture that makes sense with it and use it. And another way I personally use it is to put a little bit of text, like a little question at the top, and then right at the top, I'll put a link to a video if I'm promoting that in the post. That way it's very clickable. It's right at the top. People get the question, they kind of get the context, they see a poll or whatever, they vote, and they're like, oh, I want to find out more about this. Let me just click that link. So those are my mindsets right now with Community tab and the way I use them. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Got not a question, but thankful for the stream. Awesome. I'm glad that the stream has been helpful for you. I'm hoping that that this is helping you guys. Let's see. Reading through some of these. Give me one moment. All right, Zooms has a problem focusing on subjects with DSLR camera. Could you help me? Here's some general advice. Connect with me on Instagram if you need to, but hopefully this will help. DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, they'll have different focus modes. So that will change the zone or the area of the autofocus. So I would make sure first and foremost that autofocus is on. And secondly, that you're in the proper mode. So if you're standing in front of the camera trying to record, make sure that it's on like a wide setting, or if it's struggling there, you can do a specific focus point and put it right on your face, or you could do a zone that's a little bit bigger. So look into your autofocus modes. Hopefully that will help for anyone else struggling with this. The other thing I would say is if you're really struggling with the autofocus, make sure that you're well lit so that the camera can easily see you. And then if you need to, increase your aperture a little bit so there's just more in focus in general. Hopefully that will help. Great question. Reading through. This is an interesting channel. Or sorry, an interesting question. So All Things Japah says, I want to add shop with me videos, browse with me videos, perfume videos to the channel that has 19 subscribers, but the niche is perfumes. Should I do a second channel? I think this is a great question. I think before making the second channel, I think you should definitely just test the waters, just rather than going out and making a bunch of those videos, like just start with like one or two, and I would splice them out, not do back to back, but like do a shop with me video, then go back to your regularly scheduled programming and kind of see how that performs. And then I would do another one and then just kind of see how that performs, and just kind of gauge the waters a little bit, see if there is an interest in your audience with the content. I would not encourage you to go all in on a second channel. My perspective is like, until you're, making, like six figures or stuff with your channel and you feel like you're really like bringing in a lot of good results, then I think you can go into a second channel if you want to. But why muddy the waters? Why kind of like distract the focus, like put all your focus in the one that's doing incredible, by the way, 19,000 subscribers. And again, this goes back to some of those things, like if you're interested or your stuff is changing a little bit, just like remember your subscribers, they're coming to you for a specific reason. So, I get if you want to just start it for fun or start it for whatever, then by all means, totally just go ahead and start it. But know that it is going to take time and it is going to take effort that is being kind of drawn away. It's like in the example we gave earlier about the field. It's almost like starting a whole other field. It's like you're kind of not tending to the one when you're working on the new one. And so that one that is doing well with the 19,000 subscribers may start to dwindle because you're not able to maintain it or put as much effort into it. So it's all pros and cons. There's no clear-cut answer to that. There's no clear-cut decision, because at the heart of it, there's the main thing, which is like, well, do you really want to do it? And if you really feel strongly about it, then yeah, by all means, go for it. But if you're thinking about it like business minded, best strategy, all that stuff, and you want to really continue to see growth on your existing channel, I would test the waters with it, see if people are interested. If they are, awesome, go all in. And if you find that the stuff is not getting as high, you can still do it, maybe just occasionally, until you start to see a shift, right? So that's just my thoughts on it. Hopefully that helps. I'm sorry that I can't give you a more direct answer. All right. Caleb coming in with another great question. Advice: I have managed to build a channel to 700 subs, debating on offering an audio podcast option Spotify and Apple Music. Would you recommend waiting and focusing on YouTube for my community? Personally, I would recommend maybe waiting. I'm actually in a similar situation, and I've got, I think, like 142,000 subs now. I'm on the fence still about starting a podcast channel. I think for me personally, because I think it's great for having like video podcasts and repurposed content and adding that value. But even for me, I'm sort of like, it's going to be taking away from just like my time and my energy and my focus from just the main channel. So I would recommend focusing on YouTube still. Like, don't chase too many rabbits. Like, I would just focus on that. And maybe you throw up a podcast video every now and again on your main channel that's related to that niche. And you can distribute it to Spotify and all that stuff too. But like, maybe don't try to go all in and commit to like, all right, every week we're doing this now, because that's a big undertaking when you're still kind of getting the YouTube channel off the ground, right? So that's just my own thoughts. I don't want to discourage you from doing it. If you're into it, go for it. That's just how I would approach it. And I'm going through the same thoughts myself right now, because I've been debating on doing a podcast, but just my thoughts. Hopefully that helps. I'm sure that people will love the podcast when it comes off the ground. I think it's all in the timing. It's just in the timing. Does it make more sense for you now? My thoughts are like, can you put all of your energy into really growing up one to be strong and ready to like almost be a little self-sustaining, where you don't have to do as much to it? Or you can even get to the point where you can start to hire stuff so it runs more smoothly, like hire out editing or whatever. Then you can take on the second thing. So that's just my own opinion. Obviously, do what you want to do. Hopefully that helps. Great question, though, for those who are wondering about the same situation. Zooms, I see your follow-up question. It's possible that you are in autofocus single instead of autofocus continuous. I don't own a 600D. I believe it would be possible. I would look into it. But there should be an autofocus continuous option when you're cycling between like manual and autofocus. It should be like an AFS and an AFC. You want the AFC. I don't know for sure if your camera has it. Most do. So I would look into that. The kid is asking, what would you advise for a beginner streamer? First piece of advice is start. Just go for it. Stream. And I would say for your first stream, I don't know what you're streaming, but like, if it's like me where I'm just kind of like talking through some concepts and some lessons to help people, or if you're doing gaming or whatever it is that you're doing, music, I don't know, I would need more context, but whatever it is that you're doing, just start. Go for it. And I would say aim to do a short stream first. Like aim for a 10 to 15 minute stream, so you don't have this pressure to have to be in front of the camera and entertain people for hours, and take the pressure off that like, hey, if it's your first stream, you may not have tons of viewers, and that's okay too. That's almost better, because then you don't feel like all these eyes are on you if you mess up or you say something dumb or whatever. It's like, just go for it, because ultimately I think like the adrenaline will kick in when everything's rocking and you're live and it's going. Like, just have fun with it, and it could be a little nerve-wracking at first. Like, I even get nervous still. I was nervous before this stream. But you just got to go for it, and just, again, like we said earlier, think about the mission, focus on it, whatever your mission is. But yeah, advice, just go for it. Try to, if you can, get some nice lighting, little softbox. That'll help your stream look better and be more controlled. You don't have to rely on the changing window light and all that stuff. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful for you. Anybody else looking to start stuff, just go for it. Just go for it. Brianna says, YouTube didn't work out. Started a coaching business. You help me understand you must bring value to people. Hey, coaching businesses are awesome. And, maybe you'll be able to, make a YouTube channel around your coaching if you haven't already. I think that could be super strong. So very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Reading through. Coffee Talk and Tech says, do you think streaming to your channel will hurt the algorithm for your posted videos? I think about this a lot. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think it will hurt. Personally, I don't think it will. I think at the end of the day, all YouTube cares about is watch time. So if your streams are engaging enough and interesting enough for viewers to come hang out at your channel, then your channel as a whole is bringing in more views, more watch time. I think streams are going to get a lot longer watch time, because they're just more to watch. They're longer most of the time. So I don't think it will hurt. As long as it's still in line with what your channel's about. If you're not just like a music channel and then you're live streaming gaming or whatever, it's make sure the streams are on par with what your channel's about and that the audience would be interested in it. I think it's a great way for people to get to know you better, to get to have direct access, kind of Q&As with you on whatever the topic is. And it looks like you're doing stuff about tech. So I think it would not hurt at all. Like demo some tech live, whatever it is. Like, I think it's a good way to just kind of get rid of that editing phase and get content out faster and just give people the longer option. Try it a few times. It's not going to crush your channel just to try it a couple times. And I think in general, all of us, I get that the algorithm is important. Obviously, I make videos about it, but I think we all do need to remember that it's more about audience than algorithm. As long as the people are getting served content that is going to be beneficial to them, the algorithm will connect it with the people. At least that's the hope. That's the best we can do. So don't worry too much about appeasing the algorithm. Just focus on the audience. And I think you can totally serve your audience with live streams. We got Martin saying, just dropping by and wanting you to know that I removed my intro after your video a few weeks ago and saw positive results instantly. Also saw the outro. Thanks so much for sharing that. I just posted this video a little bit ago. You guys can go check it out if you're interested in that. This was kind of funny for me, this particular video, because my second top performing video I did a few years ago, and it was a video about intros. And so now I'm basically coming back and saying don't have intros or have them be very short. And it's counter what my top second video is on my channel. But it's just times have changed, strategy changes. And so I have to come back and update you guys with what's working now and what's working well. So if you're interested in my new thoughts on intros, go check out that recent video, as well as the outros. I've got one on end screens as well. So hopefully that will help. Thanks for sharing that. I love hearing that the content is helping. I'm so happy that you got positive results from that. I did the same, so I wanted to share it, and it's really cool to see that it's kind of echoed in your channel as well. All right. All right, we got, hey Ben, I want to start filmmaking. Should I invest in a camera? Absolutely, when you can. I think that having a standalone camera for filmmaking specifically is super important. But you don't need it right away to start filmmaking. If you've got your phone, start with your phone. I even have a video on my channel on how to make cinematic B-roll using your phone. So check that out if you're interested. But eventually, yeah, you should invest in a camera. I don't think you should invest in that first, though. I think for filmmaking, I would invest in some lighting and ultimately audio before the camera, because I think that will help the overall end result. Less money invested, more result gained than going straight away for the camera. All right. Great question, though. We got, what do you think of end cards in general? No, end screens, all that stuff. I don't think they're useful. I would say what's more useful is to reimagine the way you do your end screens. And I have a video about that. It's, something about the past 100 videos ruined my channel or something like that. You can see it on my channel, but I talk all about the end screens. I think the better way to approach it is to not do the cards at the end, where you kind of lead up to it with thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And then the end screen comes for 20 seconds or whatever. That's not as useful, especially if you're giving them multiple options. That's too much to do. The viewers will just leave to something else. But what you do instead is you basically call to action them into a previous video you've made. So if I was doing it for, any video, I could just be maybe it's a lighting video and I'm wrapping up the end of it, and I want to recommend them to then go to an audio video. Be now that you've got your lighting figured out, I'd love to invite you to, or I would probably say it now that you've figured out your lighting, the next step is to get your audio dialed in. To find this out, continue on to this video here. And that way they're oh, I need to dial in my audio now. Let me go click that and go watch this one. And then from the audio video, you'll do that again. So you create this chain of videos that increases a viewer's session time. And I've got a video that goes into detail on that on the channel. Hopefully that will help you. Great question. Zium said, notice I'm blinking too much speaking to the camera. Any tips? Make sure your light's not too bright. If you have a light, sometimes that will happen. I also think you may just be being like self-conscious of yourself there. I don't think anybody else there is, you know, sitting around counting your blinks. Another thing I would say is like use B-roll and use like images and text to like break up your camera shots. So like the way I edit my videos is most of the time I'm only on screen for like at the most 7 seconds to 8 seconds at a time before I switch angles or cover it with something different, just to help viewer retention and viewer watch time. So if you add in more B-roll and add in more elements, you'll actually, oh no, my camera got overheated. Hold on a second. Popping this up. I gotta change my battery real quick. I will be right back. Well, guys, for whatever reason, my camera is getting hot, which is odd. Well, it gets really hot in this room, to be honest. But anyways, I'm going to probably end it here pretty soon because I changed the battery, but it still may overheat again. I need to get a little fan going on it or something. One sec. Okay. But yeah, I just did a video on camera confidence, so hopefully that helps CMs. You can go check that one out. Looking through. Calvin says, don't have a room that is pleasing for backgrounds. Does mean I'm failed. Can't leave my gear up. Should I just not create because of this? It's just day-to-day background. No, of course not, Calvin. I don't think it means you failed at all. Here's the thing. People care way, 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 way more about your overall content value than your production value. So what this means is like the information, the message, the just you as a person, all of that is going to transcend the production, so, of course, having a better background is nice and it makes it easy to look at or whatever. But ultimately, people don't come to your video because they want to look at a background. They come because they want to get your insights or your perspective or just see you and the way that you're going to interact with them. So don't worry about that. The other stuff will come. The production value will increase over time naturally as your channel grows, but it's because of you and your perspective and the way that you're adding value to people that it's going to be, ultimately the thing that will get people to say. So you have by no means failed. You definitely should keep creating, for sure. Just hopefully that encourages you. You've got this. Like just stick with it. Stick with it. Looking. All right, guys. I think that I'm going to have to end it pretty soon here. Oh, we got a super chat from Coffee Talkin' Tech. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys supporting the channel all the time. You don't have to donate or any of that stuff, but it's always super appreciated. Thank you so much. Zium says bullet points or script. I would say script. A lot of times script. It just depends. Like today I'm doing bullet points because I'm free talking. But if I'm doing a tutorial, I script it fully because I know that like in 2 years time, it can still be as efficient as possible versus like if I just kind of free flow talk my bullet points for things, yes, I can get the content out now, but it's not going to be as effective long term. And specifically with tutorials or reviews, I want them to be very dialed in and as succinct as possible so that they can withstand the test of time efficiently. So that's my own approach. I would bullet point, you know, a rant video or just something where I'm sharing my thoughts on something versus like a more specific type of video. Hopefully that helps. All right, guys. Thank you so much for commenting and doing everything. I'll do one more question before my camera. It looks like it's doing a little better right now. We've got, what lights do you use on the right and the left of the background? These are Godox TL120 tube lights. Great question. And I can actually control them with this little remote right here, which is super cool. So I can just kind of go in and, you know, control them on and off, change the color of them if I want to, which is awesome. So that's really cool. Let me go ahead and get it back to what it was. And I can actually control each one individually. So I can go into now control the other one if I want to just change that one. And then I can go back to this one. I can change the color there. And I can actually change my key light as well. So I can go in and get that looking all super crazy as well, because it's a Godox light also controlled by this remote, which is really cool. So I have a lot of fun with that. You know, I can make my key light go crazy, which is super fun. Sorry for the craziness of that. Now it's really bright, so let me turn it back down. Something like that. Yeah, so all that to be said, Godox makes some cool lights. I like their stuff. And it makes a nice little system. This key light I'm going to do a review with soon, so I'm not going to say what it is yet because I'm testing it with the stream right now, but so far I really like it. Let's see. I'll put the links down in the description right after this stream if they're not there already. And I have a full-on video about these lights on the channel. If you want to go check them out, you'll see it's like 4-foot light of awesomeness, Godox TL20 reviewers, something like that. Let's see, looking for one more, scrolling up through the comments. Cool. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any other questions, please just feel free to connect with me on Instagram, you know, comment on the actual video replay once this is done. Cause you know, I want to keep the dialogue going. It doesn't have to end here. You know, I love doing these streams because I get to share some thoughts and share some topics. And again, the whole idea of this one, let's just pull that back up. Kind of scroll through all these slides real quick. But the whole concept of this is to grow your channel. So hopefully this video has helped you guys do that. You know, again, it's beyond the views, beyond the subscribers, beyond the income. You're going to find way more growth when you focus on the mission, when you focus on adding value through entertainment, value through making people smile, value through solving people's problems, value through condensing their time, and just helping people out. That's going to be the way to grow. And just a quick recap while we end out this stream, it's that verse that I mentioned earlier. For those of you who may not have been here, I'll just show you one more time. It's just such a good perspective. But much food is in the fallow ground of the poor. Fallow means uncultivated, unworked. So if you feel like you're poor in your channel, you have, you know, low views, low subscribers, you're not skilled, whatever it is, you know, there is still an abundance to be found once you start putting some work into it and cultivating that ground. The way that we'll do that is through cultivating ideas, cultivating systems, cultivating community, and cultivating discipline. So you're going to work all of those areas and you'll start to see that there actually is a lot of great resource and abundance to be found through working that ground. So hopefully this has helped you guys out. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, and we got another super chat. I see. Wow. Thank you so much. Chump Chang, mining and crypto. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the stream, but all right, guys, I'm going to have to end it here. I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been a lot of fun, and you guys know the drill. As always, stay creative. Peace.